This video is only part of an unpaid, unbiased, in-depth review from an average rider's perspective, so check out the rest in the link below at thegoodride.com. If you want real advice, fill out the Me Harmony profile in the link below so I can help you properly. And if this video helps, please consider donating or buying through our links. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I'm just being me in a world that isn't. And this is the Nidecker Rift, my favorite boot in the Nidecker line. I rode this a few days and primarily compared it against my Burton Kendos. Much more similar, just basically a traditional lace version of this. Got it with Union Atlas, rode it on boards like the Never Summer, Proto Slinger, and a few other boards. I spent more time on these than any other boot in the Nidecker line because they matched up really well with my riding style the most. And to give you a short summary, the Nidecker Rift APX is a great boot for a wide variety of riders. It has a medium flex that's very supportive. It has excellent flex retention technology with that articulating cuff. It has good but not great shock absorption, excellent traction. It's a very comfortable boot if you're a D and narrower. It has excellent adjustability, upper and lower. And I think overall, if you're looking for a medium flexing boot to match up really well with a more demanding free ride board, but also be able to get on a mountain freestyle board if you're a quiver rider like myself and like to mix it up, this is a perfect boot for all of that. And when it comes to sizing, this 9 US fit really true with my true size 9 feet. Lengthwise, it felt great there. It feels like it's made to work correctly on the sizing scale. From there though, widthwise, my 9Es were a little wide for this, and E's pretty wide. This is best for D and below right out of the box, but this liner is very heat moldable. If I blew my shit out on the sides and really spent some time heat molding this, I think the Rift would work for me, just like I had to do with my Burton Kendos. Felt a little narrow at first, a little tight. It put my feet to sleep. It put some pressure in undue areas. But after I heat molded it, it was fine. And this would probably be the same with the Rift, although I didn't heat mold it because I'm sending it back, most likely. I kind of want to keep it though. Now, when it comes to adjustability, you have double BOA. So we'll do a little double BOA test. So you hit the top here, tighten it up, and you'll notice, takes a while, but it only tightens the upper portion. Then you hit the bottom here and it tightens the lower portion. And I love that upper and lower separation. I feel it does a great job at allowing you to have more room maybe down here for wider feet like myself, but keep it proper up top to get that response that you want. And don't overcrank your boots. That just leads to more problems down the line. Get a boot that fits you properly. I think there's good heel hold here. I felt like it's not exceptional, but you can always play around with adding J-bars and other things to the inside of the shell and just really dial out your fit that way. But I think it's good enough for most, unless you just need the ultimate in heel hold. On and off, BOA is just so easy off. Getting it on and twisting that BOA takes a while, but at least you're not dealing with a spaghetti mess of traditional lace here that you get with like the Kendo and other boots. But speed lace is probably the fastest in and out if you want that. Now, when it comes to flex, they call this a 5 out of 10. And I'll agree, but I would say it feels a little more responsive, a little more supportive than you would think for that 5 flex, especially new out of the box. But even when it breaks in, I think it's going to still feel a little more responsive than a 5 out of 10, especially comparing it to a medium to medium soft flexing boot like the Kendo. I felt like I had a little more support, a little more response than the Kendo, and I liked that because I've always been a little bummed that the Kendo is just a little bit softer, a little less responsive, a little less supportive than what I would like, but it's close, and it's hard to find a good fitting boot that'll last 100 days a year. But this one just feels a little bit more true to its medium flex, because they call this medium flex too. And the overall construction and retention of that flex is exceptional here. I love seeing this big old articulating cuff going almost back to the spine. It stops about right here, where the Kendo goes all the way to the back. But I think they're both close enough, and this is going to last a long time. And I love boots like this that aren't super stiff, but they keep that flex for most of the boot's life. Maybe the sides of this might break down construction-wise, I'm not sure. The Kendo sure does. But it's funny, it'll get holes in it, but still have almost the same flex from the day I started 100 days later. When it comes to weight, these are pretty light too, at 2 pounds. That's pretty light for a snowboard boot. The Kendo's at 2.2 pounds, so it's even lighter than the Kendo, and the Kendo's pretty light. There are some really light snowboard boots out there, but this is a nice balance between being reliable and light. So when it comes to shock absorption and board feel, I think this is a really good sole for having a balance of both. Also, it's really good for being damp and still having some shock absorption. It looks like it's going to be super cush. It's not that cush. I would have liked a little more shock absorption. I felt just a little bit more with my Kendos on same day tests, but still this is good. And as the sole breaks in, it might become a little more shock absorbent. Again, it matches up with what I said in the intro. This works with a wide variety of boards and riding styles. And you don't feel like you're a layer or two removed from your bindings and your board. So that's pretty cool too. It has a really nice inward roll that definitely feels like it lines up better with your natural stance when you're riding. Traction. This has an excellent sole, just rubber throughout, just little EVA foam peeking out here and there. But overall, very good traction, very much like my Kendos, and I really like that. It might not be a Vibram sole, but it's very good. Now, when it comes to the footprint from toe to heel, this has a very reduced footprint that's almost on par with the Burton Kendo, so you're not going to have any extra overhang or any more potential for toe and heel drag if you size up your board correctly, and that's great. The insole's just an insole. That's pretty much what you get all the time with every snowboard boot. It's rare if you get a good insole straight out of the boot. I always upgrade to a custom orthotic or like footprint insole technology game changers. Those are my favorites out of all the insoles I've tested, but there are a lot of good aftermarket insoles, and I strongly suggest you look into getting one of those. And overall, this Rift was definitely my favorite out of the boots I tried from Nidecker's line in 2023. It matches up perfectly with my riding style. The construction looks like it's going to last for a long time and ride a full 80 to 120 days throughout the season without losing too much of its original flex like my Burton Kendo does. While I could use a little bit more shock absorption, I still think it's a nice balance between being damp and shock absorbent, and it will work with a wide variety of boards and bindings. So I think out of all the boots in their line, I'll be recommending this the most when people email me.